1 in 8 people will suffer from some sort of a mental illness at one point in their life. That's about 1 billion people worldwide. There is something primal knowing that it can take its time or it can happen suddenly. Feel good in one moment and all of a sudden all hell break loose. It can happen to you, your family or friends without a warning, in your home or on the street. Point is, you can never be truly safe or protected. After all, your enemy is in your brain and you can't escape or run. You can just pray you manage to pull through. Today we are diving into the mental illness iceberg as we start with the surface level and make our way down along the way. If you're suffering from a mental illness, consider seeking professional help. Layer 1. The surface. In this layer, most of the entries are most commonly known and generally easy to comprehend, but as we go further down into the iceberg, then things would get a lot more strange and bizarre, horrors we were never meant to comprehend. Panic disorder and panic attacks. Panic attacks can happen to anyone and we would experience 1 or 2 in our lifetime. However, if a person experiences them more frequently, then we can say that the person has a panic disorder. If you have a panic attack, you could suddenly, without a warning, be walking down the street or drinking coffee and suddenly you feel immense fear accompanying with anxiety. Your heart will start beating in rapid successions and you will feel like you're losing control over your body and may even collapse unable to stand up. People who have experienced it say that it can be mistaken for a heart attack, and best of all, it happens out of nowhere, say to come from a particularly stressful period in our life. If you get a panic attack, you should contact a doctor as it can be extremely hard to deal with on your own and can get worse with time, so professional help is advised. Some symptoms are fear of having another panic attack, as this comes from the feeling of impending doom, losing control, or that one may be dying so. It's like a 2-for-1 special. You get to feel like you are dying now, and you get to feel like you're dying later too. You will tremble and shake as if your heart starts to pound faster and faster, accompanied by sweating, chills, shortness of breath, hot flashes, nausea, chest pain, headache, and detachment from real life, to name not so few symptoms. You might be genetically prone to having this problem, because fuck you, that's why. No reason in particular, it's just there to be Europe. It can also be caused by a particularly stressful period in your life, and even if you are more susceptible to stress via your personal traits, like introversion, when you have to communicate with a lot of people, can feel like hell. To help prevent them, it's recommended to physically regulate having a treatment for panic attack, but if you or someone close is in the midst of one, stay calm, be near them, continue to tell them that everything would be alright and that they're safe. Do not try to sell them crypto, it doesn't work too well. It's not the moment apparently, or so I've been taught. Tell them about a space you and them could enjoy and make them think about it. Tell them to try grounding themselves in reality by involving the senses, make them touch the cold floor, look at the bright lights, and lastly, try to get their brain distracted. Ask them to count objects, for example. If you're liking the video so far, please consider subscribing. It's my personal goal to hit 1000 subscribers by the end of the year, and this would mean the world to me. Now, let's get back to the video. Alcoholism. Alcohol use disorder is quite prevalent and commonly found. It's characterized with being unable to stop drinking, putting yourself and others at risk, and damaging your personal relationships. Imagine this. To be sober is hell. Due to reason, is it tremendous stress, abuse, or self-hate. You drink and it comes a bit later, until finally you stop feeling that hell. But then you black out due to drinking too much, and you wake up feeling like you're going to die. It's so prevalent in part due to the role it plays in our society. Drinking after work or while partying with friends, it's supposed to be cool and be done in social places, making it widespread. It can have long-lasting effects on your body. You will start experiencing heart problems, difficulty in digestion, liver problems, eye problems, and high risk of getting cancer, to name a few perks. You thought I was done, didn't you? On top of that, there are mental sides to this problem as well. In that state, You get more prone to violence under the influence. You start to take more risky experiences, such as magically finding your car keys in your pocket and then starting driving on their own while you're intoxicated. Having problem with being able to make meaningful connections with your close ones and even pushing them away most often than not. People who have traumatic experiences or depression are more prone to drinking. Your genetics have a say too as well, as family history with alcohol and picking up the habit of drinking at a young age or due to social interaction. To help someone who is addicted to alcohol, you gotta raise the question up, since more often than not, the person will deny that they have a problem. But don't hesitate to let them know they need help in a calm way when they're sober and both of you are calm. Don't offer a beer to calm their nerves. It didn't work well, speaking from friend experience. But do offer to be there for them at doctor's appointments or in meeting to Alcohol Anonymous. Make a plan with them on how to stop it. Let them know you are safe and they can open up, and that if they have any urges, they can always call you. Postpartum disorder and depressive postpartum disorder. Postpartum disorder is a collective title for a negative mental state associated with and after childbirth, as if popping a kid with the size of a stranger big chihuahua isn't enough, but you have flavors of mental pain too to go along with it. On the other hand, postpartum depression is specifically associated with sadness, anxiety, fatigue that leaves a person unable to take care of themselves and their child. PD or postpartum depression encapsulate postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, postpartum psychosis, and postpartum PTSD. Postpartum anxiety is characterized by an overwhelming fear that something bad will happen to the baby or in general. Panic attack and fear are there to be your company so you won't get too lonely. Postpartum psychosis is a bit more dangerous and it should involve medical help, as it makes your thinking disorganized and hard, entails hallucinations and delusions that can be dangerous to oneself and others. Postpartum PTSD get on board after a particularly harsh and difficult birth. It involves flashbacks, nightmares, and those who suffer of this type of PTSD try to avoid or stay away from reminders that could trigger flashback. That's like 2-for-1 deal. On one hand, you get PTSD, and on the other hand, you get sleep PTSD too to go along with it. PPD or postpartum depression is the most common type of those we mentioned, characterized by feeling of overwhelming tiredness, lack of enjoyment or participation in life, lack of care about the baby or oneself, a feeling of uselessness, and a sudden shift in dating patterns. PPD can occur anywhere from just after the birth itself, 12 months afterwards. Men can suffer from PPD as well, and it's characterized by isolating themselves, lack of sleep, aggression, absent-mindedness, to name the main ones. Postpartum depression can be caused by stress, hormonal disbalance, body malfunctions due to stress, like sudden shift in hormones, diabetes, and finding out your husband cheated with best friend's older sister's boyfriend, playing with swords. If you know, you know. A few ways to help someone close or yourself in this state would be to try and encourage them to sleep wherever possible, preferably not on the wheel while driving. Those aren't very comfortable, wouldn't recommend. Take your time and get familiar with your new parenting role. Other things can wait. Make sure you have time both for yourself and for parenting. Lastly, therapy is a must. Generalized anxiety disorder. Generalized anxiety disorder, or GAD, is often accompanied by insomnia due to significant overlap in causes and effects. Imagine this: you're anxious about tomorrow, so it's hard for you to fall asleep, so you sleep less. And because of that, you're more anxious, so it's even harder to fall asleep. And that's why this can be such a problematic thing to deal with. GAD is quite prevalent, with anywhere from 3 to 5% suffering from it worldwide, with women being more prevalent with 2-to-1 ratio compared to men. Which isn't surprising, after all, the most a man can think in a day is what Obama's last name. It's Obama. Barack Obama. Age can be a factor too, with most prevalent being teens years and early adulthood. They worry about many scenarios such as finances, personal relationship, workplace, and life in general. We don't know what causes GAD, but it's thought that genetics plays a factor. At this point, every second thing on this list falls in that regard. People say, in particular those who are timid, reserved, and tend to be isolated fall into GAD more often. Generalized anxiety disorder and social anxiety disorder share similarities in their symptoms. However, before we continue, I want to say why they're different, since we will see many similarities in symptoms. GAD is a fear in the day-to-day life and scenarios that might, but most often than not, would never happen, whereas SAD involves any and all social interaction. With that out of the way, let's move on to the symptom. Heart starts pounding fast, you get dizzy, like a German in a Bulgarian pub in summer, muscle aches or tension follows you. Shortness of breath is not far behind either. Some more perks, if we can call them those, are nausea, fatigue, headache, easily startled, and on top of that, problems falling asleep and short-lived relationship with the toilet. On the mental side, you won't be forgotten, you will be more irritable, we have problems relaxing, and if you think you can just stop thinking, then good luck with that. That is like trying to run but you have no legs. Hard, awkward, and uncomfortable. Hey, that's what they used to call me in school. Sprinkle in some fear of making bad decisions, and boom, you have the full package: discounted panic attack and feeling the wrath of 1,000 pregnant ladies boiling your blood. As for teens, well, anxiety related to fitting in, lack of confidence, being a perfectionist are all a must. Luckily, you can deal with it or mediate its effect with a few steps like regular exercise, healthy eating, and prioritizing sleep, along with relaxation techniques like meditation and mindfulness. Post-traumatic stress disorder. Unlike panic attack, post-traumatic stress disorder, or more commonly referred to as PTSD, is about reliving a traumatic event and feeling as if it's happening right now, rather the stress factor of their own. Imagine you're scrolling and then you hear a loud bang in a short, and all of a sudden you're back in time 10 to 15 years fighting for your life with your family. Unfortunately, you were close to a brawl that escalated to a shooting out and you're fleeing, but your brother gets shot and almost died. Worst of all, your dog ate your pizza while you were out. And this sound just reminded your deepest part of subconscious that's feeling the emotion of this time, the fear and the betrayal you felt from your dog. Oh yeah, your brother too. Although odds of people getting it might vary from places where they live to their gender, it's estimated that a few percent of people worldwide suffer from PTSD. Some symptoms could be flashbacks of traumatic events, not just thinking about them, reliving them, a change in the way they act, getting more aggressive, or avoiding people, situations, and places that remind them of the traumatic experiences. Basically like a Reddit moderator trying to avoid the shower. A person with PTSD could be hypervigilant, meaning they're on edge about their surroundings, being reckless, or indulging into self-destructive activities, and their mood can change in an instant, normally going into a panic or aggression in an attempt to self-preserve. Since the body feels threatened, at this moment they become something else. They evolve in an oversized chihuahua. People get diagnosed based on a talk with a psychiatrist or by answering their answers or survey. PTSD can be misinterpreted with a lot of self-destroying mental states and illnesses, so it might be a good idea to get a few opinions from specialists, especially if you are in a country with poor mental health culture or one that is starting to develop it. The main way to help treat someone with PTSD is psychiatry or medication, as the medications are mainly antidepressants and anxiety mending pills. Albeit the chances are that probably won't work for everyone, since the chances they help can be 20 to 30%. But at least the anxiety medications pills can help you fall asleep, so you can have PTSD in the form of nightmare too, so always good. Psychotherapy can be a few flavors: cognitive therapy, exposure therapy, and eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, or AMDR. That's a long ass name. Well, MIDR basically tackles the memories in the brain that are stuck and are connected to the traumatic events via several sessions that depict a series of standardized procedures designed to stimulate brain activities as a way for the brain to heal naturally, basically getting high on colors until you reboot. Claustrophobia. Claustrophobia is characterized with the fear of small or crowded places such as elevators, small room, spaces, or Andrew Tate's pants apparently. People who have it often feel immense anxiety and fear that can lead to panic attack in such spaces. Imagine you're at a party and suddenly out of nowhere your heart starts racing, you start to breathe in rapid successions that are shallow, you start sweating, and your head gets dizzy. You start trembling out of nowhere, and worst of all, you get the feeling of being unable to breathe. And that's about what it feels like to feel claustrophobia. And although many prefer trying to avoid such crowded and small places, like Bulgarians try to avoid making roads that would last more than 3 weeks, it might seem smart, but it can turn fast into a phobia. It can be quite life-changing when it comes to the people who experience it, as it limits their mobility and makes them wary of if and when they can get a panic attack. If they don't get out in time from the pace that triggers them, like me trying to leave university for example. To be able to get better control in these moments, it's advised to practice deep breathing, exercise, exposure therapy, although if you have PTSD, or better known as complex post-traumatic stress disorder, a topic that we will discuss in an upcoming videos, so hit that bell like it owns you money, but for the purpose of this video I will give you a brief explanation. It's when a traumatic experience happens in short, rapid succession over a long time, often, and this could lead to overwhelming of person. This can deepen the fear rather than helping it. Seeking professional help like therapy or medication is however advised. And lastly, mindfulness such as paying attention to yourself and your surrounding is key to helping. Social anxiety disorder. This type of anxiety is long-term fear of any and all social interaction. When you have it, even the smallest things such as a phone call or making a compliment can turn into a task that takes hours or even days. I fear those who don't take 30 minutes and 4 pep talks to make a call. Postponing it due to overwhelming fear, your brain is giving you reasons as to why not to do it. And even worse, you can feel as if alive in that situation. It can start as soon as 11 years and typically it gets better with time, although still 1/3 of young adults have some sort of social anxiety accompanying, which looking at my classmates I'm bewildered it's not higher. A few factors that lead to social anxiety are traumatic experiences at young age. It can shape the way we look at and approach things as kids, leading to our adulthood. Interacting or observing someone with a social anxiety disorder can make you feel the same way as a person it's pressed like a fart. Invisible, subtle, but takes toll on anyone nearby. Genetics are another thing that can have a say in that whether you get it or not, alongside with other illnesses such as depression and so on. The reasons go on, but they tend to have something in common. In most cases, anxiety manifests from events that have happened in early childhood. A racing heart, muscle pain or tension, freezing, nausea and dizziness are a few perks of the symptoms that come with the sort of anxiety. Shyness and introversion might sound similar, but they are personal traits that have their own traits, but they tend to prefer a more personal and small gathering of friends and family, whereas anxiety can make even that something that sounds like you are asking a Twitter user to stop saying a slur every 5 minutes. Social anxiety disorder can be intervened in kids with a good supporting system, giving the space to act and knowing when to step in, and most importantly allow them to feel an anxiety and fear when needed, but guide them and explain it to them. If you're an adult, focus on reducing anxiety symptoms, developing coping mechanisms, and gradually exposing yourself to social situations. And most importantly, give yourself the time you need to get better. Anorexia. Imagine for a moment you look in the mirror and you see someone else's distorted version of reality, yet you perceive them to be you. People with anorexia, more often than not, think they should lose weight or that they are fat, but in reality they are most likely underweight. Though in some cases the person who develops anorexia could be overweight but shouldn't be ignored nonetheless. Less portion size, specific dietary restriction, eating one or few specific things, abusing of laxative, or forcefully making themselves puke are the main ways they try to achieve their goal. But the thing is, there is no goal. The more they lose weight, the more they want to lose more. It's not that they don't understand that it's wrong, they simply can't. Like, I can understand how some of my university classmates made it in. They have an image in their head and a voice telling them that they're fat and should lose weight. This could lead to long-term health problems such as infertility, lowers level of testosterone in men, heart problems, and in more severe cases, organ failure and death. Normally anorexia is rooted into you when you are young due to various reasons, some of which are problematic family relationships and sexual abuse. Stress can make it worse. A society that encourages people to be thin or in sports or jobs that having a lower body weight can be beneficial or advantageous. That's like paying someone to give them a mental illness, which normally works the other way around. Excessive training, denial of hunger, and sometimes obsessive, almost ritualistic eating behaviors are some showings of anorexia. To help someone with anorexia, it's key to show personal support, don't force them to eat, or they will avoid you or hide when they haven't eaten. Don't make comparisons, or their view are skewed and most often will take it the wrong way. Listen to their feelings and what they have to tell, but do not be controlled by what they say alone, since topics about food and weight can be tricky. Setting a plan with someone to hold them accountable to eat and eating over video chat or in person can help greatly. It's a long battle, but a worth one to fight for. Oppositional Defiant Disorder. Oppositional Defiant Disorder, or ODD, is most commonly seen in early development ages before it turn into teens, but we can be observed later on in life. It's associated with irritability and argumentative side to a person that lasts over 6 months. Imagine that when a teacher or your boss tells you, hey, do this, or we will work on this, get irritated, angry, and offended. Now imagine you're a kid that can't control or understand their emotions. Suddenly this can get out of control, resulting in a one-to-one conversation with your mother's sandal. Many people can mistake this for a kid throwing a tantrum, but there are a few things to watch out for to know for sure. It's characterized by often and easily losing temper, often annoys people on purpose and goes out of their way to not follow what those say. Basically your university classmates but younger. They are often hurtful and resentful, trying to hurt others when upset, and often can be spiteful. Okay, that's just like my university classmates, but anyways. There are 3 severity, first one being mild, when this behavior is seen at only a specific location, school, home, or with a specific people. Moderate is when those symptoms occur in several settings, not just a single one, and severe is when it goes even for more settings. This state can be due to genetic predisposition and bad or abusive parenting and a stressful environment. To get help for the individual, generally is advised good parenting and getting professional help early on. The ODD comes with other mental illnesses and perks like depression and ADHD. Thank you all for watching till the end. I may or may not wish you good luck for that. And if you subscribe and comment, I may or may not post more content regardless of the disturbing and creepy nature. Till next time, and oh yeah, just one more thing. YouTube told me you may like this video, so give it a shot. Till next time, stay fresh.